We got Burgergate going on in Ann Arbor, Michigan with Jim Harbaugh. Apparently, he's facing a 4-game suspension from the NCAA. What do we make of all this? There's a lot more, I think, in the headline than what's actually going on here, so let's break it down a little bit. Here is the broad strokes of the situation as I understand it to be. Jim Harbaugh bought some recruits burgers at a local joint in Ann Arbor. To my understanding, it wasn't this big setup, orchestrated deal. It was like, hey, we got some committed guys in town. They're rolling through. They're like, yo, Coach Harbaugh, we're going to be there. He's like, great, I'll get you a burger. You're going to be on my team here soon. Great. Now, allegedly, this was during a dead period during COVID. So keep in mind now, this is a very fluid situation, unprecedented times. We're not sure exactly what's going on. So that is what the greatest objection is to this whole situation. A little subplot here, a self-reported violation by Michigan. They got an analyst coaching on the field say, hey, hand up, it's on me, our bad. Let the NCAA know. All right, we're rolling here. So that's kind of all wrapped up into this issue where Jim Harbaugh is apparently facing a 4-game suspension to start the 2023 season. Now we'll unpack this a little bit more. Really quickly, make sure you're locked in here. It's almost time for college football season. That's why we're having ridiculous conversations like this right before the season. It means we're very, very close to ball. So storylines like this just further drive home the point that we need college football being played here very soon. Also, a quick note, a lot of y'all have asked, hey, where can I get a program t-shirt? Where do I snag one of those? They're not for sale anywhere, but once we get this channel to 100,000 subscriptions, we're going to give one away. And then we're going to kind of open the floodgates for how you can win one of these. So bottom line, get us to 100K on here. We'll start getting you program t-shirts. So have you an opportunity to win a program t-shirt is the bottom line there. Okay, back to the topic at hand. Back to Burgergate, if you will. The violations are broken up into levels for the NCAA. A level 2 violation, to put it simply, not great. Never good to have a violation, but it's not the end of the world. The language is a lot of more than minimal, but less than substantial. So that should tell you all you need to know there. That's a lot of what's going on with the burgers and I believe with the analyst coaching on the field and all that. The level 1 violation, a little bit more serious, a little bit more of a, whoa, hey, what's going on here? The competitive advantage language comes into play there. And the issue here with the level 1 violation, broad strokes, the NCAA feels like, or is accusing rather, to my understanding, based on how this whole thing reads, that Jim Harbaugh is either misleading or not being 100% honest with the way that things went down with what I am calling Hamburger Gate with these recruits. Now, the way that I understand it with Jim Harbaugh, he is not saying, yeah, you know what, you're right, I lied to y'all. The way that he is approaching this, from what I have been told, is basically saying, Lil Wayne style in that deposition, hey, you know what, I don't recall. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember. So whatever you want to make of that, that's your own prerogative. But let's just be real here. We're talking about hamburgers. We're talking about cheeseburgers here. We're not talking about handing over someone a condo, which now, I mean, allegedly can kind of happen with NIL. But we're not talking about just enormous moves to get a recruit to commit. These are committed recruits, from what I have been told, swinging through town, getting cheeseburgers. Are we really making this a big deal? I think with this whole situation, to be real, like it's just kind of dumb. I think most people feel like it's pretty dumb. And the 4-game suspension, I think, is dumb. But if you're an Ohio State fan, you got a couple of feelings about this. One, that's your rival. So you already kind of want to see them have a hard time, right? The other piece, Jim Tressel got fired for a very similar situation with the whole tattoo gate. And so if you're an Ohio State fan, you're saying, hold on one second, NCAA. You're saying our head coach has to ultimately leave his job as the head coach at Ohio State, and this dude's getting 4 games. What gives? One, going back to this is a very dumb situation, okay? 2, just because we're taking a step towards common sense today, if that frustrates you because of what happened in the past, I understand, but like at some point in time, we got to take a step towards just what ultimately is the right thing here. It's cheeseburgers. We shouldn't vacate wins. We shouldn't fire a coach. Nobody should lose their job over cheeseburgers. That's common sense. That's common sense. And so I'm a little bit encouraged to see that we're not having enormous penalties levied on Michigan at this point in time. But I would also say 4 games is a third of the season. I understand who it's against. We'll talk about that in a second. But 4 games, like if it's me, if I'm calling the shots here, if there's ever a world where I'm able to run things with the NCAA and run things in college football, maybe you're giving Jim Harbaugh a 1-game suspension. Maybe it's 1 game. Heck, if you want to just be the absolute just hardo about this whole thing, maybe give him 2 games, but 4 games feels like a stupid thing, but I'm encouraged that it's a step in the right direction and we're not just absolutely bodying Michigan for some cheeseburgers. So as it pertains to the suspension of what it would entail, the way that I understand it, Jim Harbaugh would get to coach the duration of the week. He just can't coach or be involved with the team or be around the team on the day of the contest. So Jim Harbaugh can game plan, can get everything in place for those 4 Saturdays where Michigan gets after it. And to be clear, these 4 games, this 4-game suspension, if Jim Harbaugh does end up facing that as his punishment, as his penalty, it's not going to matter at all. And the reason why they play Eastern Carolina, they play UNLV, they play Bowling Green, and they play Rutgers. All 4 of those games, they should win by double digits. All 4 of those games are at home. So unless the NCAA puts on top of this 4-game suspension, hey, by the way, those opponents you play, we're going to spot them 21 points and the football, Michigan's going to roll. Like, call me up right now, and we're going to be able to win the game if I'm the head coach at Michigan, if you want me to stand in there for Jim Harbaugh on those games. Like, that's just the fact of the matter here. It's not going to matter or impact Michigan at all. So I'm encouraged we're thinking that these things are less impactful than we have in the past. I still don't love that we're levying a 4-game suspension. That in itself feels a little bit extreme. If Jim Harbaugh was dishonest, yeah, bad deal. Shouldn't do that. Never okay. You broke the rules. You got to pay some sort of punishment. But a third of the 2023 season feels kind of dumb. Let's keep little things little. All right, so we got Burgergate going on in Ann Arbor, which again just speaks volumes to the fact that we need college football being played here very soon so we can put dumb storylines like this in the rearview mirror. All right, we're live tomorrow morning, as we always are, every Tuesday, every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. That video will be scheduled on this channel here very, very shortly, so you can keep an eye on it when it does go live, when we are live. Again, we're live at 11 a.m. Eastern. But to make sure you don't miss it, follow me on the socials, at Judy Pickell. Wherever you're on social media, Twitter, Instagram. I'm still calling it Twitter, by the way. I'm not calling it X. I'm calling it Twitter, so that's what we all know it as. Follow me there. You won't miss when we go live, and we're going to have a real good time there. All right? Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.